Howdy students, it's Taylor here. I hope that everybody's having a good start to their semester. So what I've got prepared for you today is a couple of recitation examples for some of the concepts that you guys are going over. Primarily in this video, it's going to be covering substitution, U substitution or otherwise. For the time being, until I get a little bit more familiar with Adobe Premiere, these are probably going to be a little bit more raw. The only method of editing I have right now is iMovie, so we're going to make do with what we've got. So I'm going to go ahead and kick things off with this integral here. My intention for these videos is to hopefully give some tips and tricks on some of the things that I've learned over the years of doing calculus, to hopefully make this semester as easy as possible for you guys. So first off, what I'm going to do is, we know that this is going to be a substitution integral here. I want to identify my u. In this case, I'll use purple. My u happens to be x plus 2. So I'm going to write that right here. U equals x plus 2. All right. So we know we need our differential in terms of u. Correct. So I'm going to take the derivative of u, du, and I get 1. Right? So I'll explain the power rule for anybody that might have forgotten that calculus. So I have x to the 1, right? I'm going to bring the power down, and I'm going to multiply by 1, multiply, and then subtract 1 from the power, which in this case gives me 1 times x to the 0, which is a little brief calculus recap there. Okay, back to our example. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 dx, right? Because we took the derivative with respect to x. So now I'm going to isolate dx, gives me du over 1, right? If you missed the algebra, here I'm going to divide by 1. Move it to the other side. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and substitute everything that I can back into my integral. Write the integral here. I have x over 4 square root u. And then now, remember, I have dx. So now dx equals du over 1. Okay, cool. Here's where we run into our first problem. What do we do with this x? Well, I want you to notice we found u. We have an x. So what I would like to do is I'm just going to isolate x. X equals u minus 2. And so I'm just going to substitute this right here. U minus 2 over 4 square root u du. Right? Okay, nice. Pause. So now we have our integral in terms of u. I see a constant 4. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out, making this 1 over 4 integral u minus 2 over square root u. Now that we've rewritten our integral in terms of u and pulled out our 1/4, the next thing I want to do, I still can't approach this integral with any standard techniques that we know, but I can break apart this fraction. So instead of having u minus 2 over root u, because they share the same denominator, I can write this as 1 over 4. The brackets just mean that this is going to get applied everywhere. Integral u over square root u minus the integral 2 over square root u. Close my brackets. What I want you to notice here here is, I can rewrite this as u to the 1 over u to the 1/2. And if we remember from algebra, if I have a to the n over a to the m, my new power is a to the n and minus m, right? So I can do this. I have 1 minus 1/2, giving me 1/2. So I can rewrite this as square root of u, or u to the 1/2. Okay, I'm gonna erase this too. I'm gonna put it in front of my integral here. And the last step is just to evaluate our integrals. I'm gonna write u to the 1/2 so that we can see all of the steps, just in case we're 2, 1 over u to the 1/2. If you're okay, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as u to the negative 1/2. This negative power would just mean that this number lies in the denominator. Okay. So now if we remember the power rule for integrals, integral of x to the n is equal to x to the n plus 1 over n plus 1. So in this case, plus 1 over 1/2 plus 1. And then same thing here, plus 1 over negative 1/2 plus 1. Those are my brackets. Now I get 1 over 4. Sorry, you'll see my notes just in case. I'm going to kind of bleed over into my notes here for a second. U to the 3 over 2 over 3 over 2, and we'll deal with that in a second, minus 2 times u to the 1/2, because we have negative 1/2 plus 1, giving me 1/2, over 1/2. And again, we'll deal with this fraction here in a second. Pause. Alrighty, so I've rewritten it a little bit cleaner so that we can see what I'm talking about here. The next thing I would do, I'm just not skipping any steps. For those of you that have already caught it, feel free to jump ahead. I want to go ahead and bring this 2 up into the numerator, right? And then this 3 is going to become my new denominator. Well, not new denominator. It is your denominator. Same thing with this 2 here, giving me 1 over 4 bracket 2 over 3 u to the 3/2 minus 2 times 2 square root of u. And I'll just go ahead and clean this up. Cool. All right. The next thing to do, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this 1/4. So I'm going to distribute this here and here, giving me 1 over 4 times 2 over 3, 1 times 2, 4 times 3. Oops, second guessed myself. 1 times 2 is in fact 2. 12 over 6. U to the 3/2 minus 1/4. 4 over 4, giving me 1. Oops, I don't need to write that. Square root of u. The last thing I need to do is, you remember in the beginning, this was our u. This was our u. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that back in. X plus 2 to the 3 halves minus square root x plus 2 plus c.